Good morning, or evening as the case may be. Been working more on P-Tree, a lot of what I did yesterday, and today has been just a lot of cleanup, testing, general housekeeping and maintenance. Um, but one of the things I'm kind of sort of stuck on, I've kind of come to the conclusion I'm not going to get it right on the first try. I'm just going to have to put it out there and see what happens, and hopefully not take um, too big of a hit on the refactor, is dealing with the association between conclusions and people. So let's take the basic example of a name. Now granted, this is not what a name will eventually be, but for now, I'm just looking for a basic name to get started. So you have a person, you have a name, in your underlying V-graph representation. This is a node, and we have an edge between them, person, name. It's a name, person, ref. So you're going to have your basic endpoints, post to the name collection to create a new name. Go ahead and, get a name, update a name, delete a name. And then you have the relationship between that name and the person. So you could create a name and then associate it with a person, which is what kind of this put would be. You'd put to this name with the person there, and you'd pass in the ID of the person or the actual person object. That's one option. The second would be to just put person, in the JSON itself. And when you post to it, you treat it as a blob. What I really don't like about that is you're creating a hierarchy in something that doesn't have a hierarchy. Because in this example, person and name are both first class. They're both at the same level. You shouldn't really be sticking name in person and person in name. So you essentially have two collections and you're making relationships between them. So you could do that a couple of different ways. In traditional REST format, you kind of do this where you kind of pick a primary. One way is to pick a primary. You say, okay, person, we're going to based on the identifier of the person, and then we're going to go ahead and create a new name that way. This could be a create. You may want to do a put for an actual association, name / ID. You could create, some of the things I've seen suggest that you create a third collection, which is the person name cross references, and you post to that collection. And I know I'm not going to get it right on the first try. I'm trying to get it close enough that it's sane that I don't have to write a heck of a lot of extra code. I'm kind of thinking something like this, where you can create a blank name, or you can go ahead and create a name and it'll go ahead and associate it with the person. And you can go ahead and post it there as kind of a convenience method. I don't see any way of getting rid of these CRUD, these basic 4 at the top. You're just going to have them. And then this relationship, this get the names associated with the person, that's just too convenient. You got to keep that. So the question is that association. So to associate a name with a person or create a new name and associate it with the person. It's, grumble. So that's the main thing I'm still struggling with. Person, place, and date, node edge, those are all done, designed out. Oh, another thing is birth. So this one's going to be even more of a nightmare, because you have the birth node and then you have 3 people and 2 other nodes, date and place, with all of those relationships. So this is kind of what the endpoints are looking like, and it's like, we're getting to a point where it's like, whoa, do we really want to go down this path? But I don't necessarily see a way around it. You know, you have things like this where you're associating this person as a child here, this person as a mother, this person as a father, and these three, this get, this put, and this delete, are purely to manage this relationship here. Which I guess if you have two first class things, then the relationship between them is technically first class as well. Because if you don't have a person be subservient to the birth or a birth be under the person, and they're both first level, and then that's kind of what you've got. Be really nice if you want to just update little particular things, but you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. You're talking 19 endpoints just to manage birth, and you're talking dozens and dozens and dozens of conclusions. Holy cow. I guess my question is there a better way? And right now, I don't think so, unless we're just going to treat birth and all of the associated things under it as one kind of object, which now you're I'm going to have to go in and read, look at the Neo4j syntax, because they have a REST API for their graph database, and kind of hopefully find some better stuff. But enough about that. Once I put in name and birth and the other basic things in Trello, I'm now to a point where I can actually start focusing on some UI. Because if I have birth and name, date, place, where are they? Birth, name, person, date, place, and date. Those are the basics I need to be able to put together some type of traversable tree, if you will, or graph. And then the next one would be marriage, right there. And then all of these other ones are just, they'll be based off of and look very similar to, other things. Burial will look very close to name, and gender, and then marriage will look like divorce, and birth will look like christening, and adoption, other things like that. So see what happens. Try it out. I'll let you know how it goes.